these videos, but
Might find one you like.
yeah, from time to time I do. I had one video that got watched 2 million times.
Dang.
I've seen you before, even before I worked here. So.
Then you're an enlightened man. Well, you know, look, nobody grows up wanting to be a car salesperson, then we become car salespeople. Okay, I was going to do it for 6 weeks, 45 years ago. Why'd you become a car salesman?
I was in the restaurant industry. You know, I had a daughter on the way. I decided that I needed to get into something with benefits, something better paying, and I just happened to know somebody who worked at the Nissan dealership who's a mechanic, and he told me to give it a shot.
Okay.
So it was,
Why'd you get into car business?
I'd say by accident, but on purpose at the same time. I was in the nightlife industry, and I had a bunch of car salesmen and managers always coming out seeing me, buying stuff from me, like bottles and stuff. And I remember they said, "You can convince me to spend tons
Bottles of what?
liquor."
Oh, okay.
So I was in the club industry, and they said,
Okay.
"You just convinced me to spend $3,000 when I said I was going to spend $200. You should sell cars." And they
Okay,
did.
good.
Business card, and well, we're here 4 years later almost.
All right, good for you. Look, I mentioned this earlier, and it is an easy job to get. Okay, if you've not committed a felony in the last 6 weeks and you're drug-free that day, you too can become a car salesman. I was a bartender, so I came out of the restaurant industry. But here's what I've learned over the last 45 years. I wish I'd known this when I got into car selling. The training pretty much sucks, okay? And that's not here, that's everywhere I go, all right? Some dealerships make a little bit better effort than others, but for the most part, the salespeople I have witnessed succeed spectacularly, and the BDC people I have seen succeed spectacularly over the years, have learned that they need to train themselves, okay? I started training myself probably 32 years ago, which meant I'd been in the business like 12 or 13 before I learned that depending on other people to train me wasn't going to get the job done. I started looking for sales training on YouTube, quite frankly. And I wasn't looking necessarily for automotive sales training. I was looking for some of the best sales training in the world is insurance, because, you know, selling me a car where my car payment's $742 a month isn't very hard relative to a life insurance policy that is $742 a month. A car I can use every single day. It smells good, it shines up, it's got cool stuff on it. A life insurance policy will never do me any good. It might do my beneficiaries some good, but it's not going to do me any good. So insurance people are some of the best trained salespeople in our society. So I started studying insurance training. And then I was looking for generalized sales training. And I found some decent automotive sales trainers, but most of them were stuck in the 1970s. Now it's a little bit different. Okay, I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I've got 2,000 videos on YouTube. All right, I've been watched 15 million times. But there's other good ones out there too. Jonathan Dawson, a young guy, has got some terrific sales training on YouTube. Okay, no charge. Andy Elliott's a little bit different, but he's got some good concepts. Okay.
He's intense.
Yeah, intense is putting it mildly. I wouldn't try to emulate his behaviors, but some of his concepts and strategies are very good. Grant Cardone used to have some very good stuff. Okay, he's more into the real estate world now. But you need to train yourselves. Okay, I mean, have you got good managers? Yes, Charles and Roger and Mitch and Dustin and Ray are all good managers, make no mistake about that. But there's only so much time for them to train. Okay, they've got very complicated jobs. I mean, from ordering vehicles, pricing vehicles, managing you wild people. So there's not much time left for them to train. So train yourselves. and never stop, because the business is changing. I mean, you can't imagine the changes that I've seen in 45 years. I can't imagine hardly the changes I've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. Okay? And it's going to continue to change. The telephone, the BDC, the internet, emails, texts are becoming more and more important ways to communicate with that customer. Do you guys send videos to customers at all?
I do. Walk around.
Yeah, I hope you do. I hope you do. And if for no other reason that most salespeople don't, so that'll just put you at the head of the line. Because most people are calling more than one store, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if I call store A, store B, store C, and store D, and you're store D, and you take the time to send me a quick video walk around or just a picture of you or a video and say, hey, my name's Cody, I'm your guy, here's the vehicle you inquired about. Well, if nobody else does that, it puts you at the head of the line. It makes you different. You're making more of an effort to help the customer with their project, which is buy a vehicle. All right? So don't do it the way everybody else does it. Your average car salesperson has been selling 8 cars a month since I've been in the business. Don't be average. Get to 12. Get to 15. Don't stop there. Get to 20. Get to 25. I know salespeople that sell 45, 50, 60, 70, 80 cars a month. Okay, the best salesperson in the country averages, what's 1,580 divided by 12?
I got you. Give me 1 second. It's 1,580 divided by 12.
Yeah.
131.6.
He also holds the record for the most retail deliveries in a day, 32. Yeah, the most retail deliveries in a month, 209. And these are Guinness Book of World Record numbers, okay? So it's not bullshit. Now, I don't know if we could get to 30 cars a day or 30 cars a month, but we sure as the devil can do a lot better than your average sales people do. But in order to do better than average, you can't do the same shit that they do. Stephen, true or false? Most salespeople show up to work and wait for something to happen.
True.
Okay? You show up sober and drug-free, which is good. You show up on time, you work your shift. Because of your product, Ford, because of your location, because of the dealership's advertising, you can make a living probably doing that. If that's all you want to do, is make a living. But if you want to get rich, by the way, can you get rich as a car salesperson?
I think so.
Yes, you can. All right? It doesn't happen often, but rich doesn't happen very often in any profession. But you have to do it differently. You have to commit yourself, you have to study your profession, you have to work to get better every single day. If I buy a car from you, Cody, you've been doing this for 4 years?
Yes, sir.
You should have a clue then. Okay, if I buy a car from you today, I'm going to promise you no one's ever asked you this question before.
Yes, sir.
So you'll have to think about it for a second. How many times will I hear from you over the next 4 years?
Well, I like to at least follow up at least every 3 months to see how the vehicle's treating you. And then after about a year or two, if I'm still there, I will give you a call and see if you're ready to trade in. But personally, maybe once or twice, to be honest.
In 4 years.
After about a year, I'll call you.
Okay.
So after
I know
Why would I-
there's certain calls you have to make based on the survey. I get that. Okay, that's why I said, how many times will I hear from you over the next 4 years?
I call at least 3 times a year after that first year.
3
I follow
times.
up like every 2 to 3 months most of the time.
What do you say?
Ask them how their vehicle's going. Ask them how many miles they got. Ask them if they come and service with us. I can see if they service with us. So that way, if they do service with us, you know, why don't you come in and check some of our new vehicles out? Come say hello to me. You're welcome anytime. And just kind of for repeat business.
Okay. I'm going to tell you what the guy that I met 3 or 4 years ago, it was pre-COVID, he was selling 57 cars a month. That was his average for the previous year. I met him in February. And he made 450 grand selling cars. He contacted his entire customer base every single month. Okay? Wasn't always a call, wasn't always a text, wasn't always an email. In fact, you know what the most frequent way he communicated with his customers was?
Text message?
Mailing out a letter.
Referrals?
Email.
It's nobody ever gets it. Yet it's the single most frequent way salespeople communicate with their customers. Voice message. If you make 100 outbound phone calls, how often are you going to get voicemail?
Right.
80, 90% of the time?
90%.
His message, whether it was a voice message, if the customer answered the phone, he said the same thing. If he texted, he said the same thing. If he emailed, he said the same thing. He didn't call every single month. He rotated. Okay, his message was always the same. It was, Camden, this is Steve from Stearns Ford. No need to call me back unless there's something I can do for you. Just wanted to remind you, I'm at Stearns Ford. I'm here for you. Have a great day. That's it. He offered to be of service every single month. Now, I asked him a question that you're probably thinking about. Well, gee, wouldn't customers get sick and tired of hearing from you? He goes, yeah. He goes, from time to time, I'll get a text or an email or a phone call when they answer and say, hey, you don't need to call me every single month. I'm never going to forget you. I put them on a quarterly rotation, but otherwise, I'm going to remind them that I'm there for them every single month. Because here's the problem with traditional methodologies of referrals, because our referral is important.
Yes.
For the long-term success, for you to get rich selling cars, you got to have a lot of people referring customers to you. So, have you been taught to ask for a referral at delivery?
Yes, sir.
Have you been taught to ask for referrals on follow-up phone calls? Okay, it's stupid and it doesn't work. I'm going to tell you that right now. Didn't work in 1979 or 80. It doesn't work in 2023. And the reason it doesn't work is not because the customer doesn't like you. Okay, if I buy a car from you, look, you did a really good job. I liked you. Okay, we might not be best friends, but I liked you enough to trust you. I spent $25, $30, $35, $40, $45, $50, $55, $60,000 with you. So you did more right than wrong. And I would be more than happy to send you a customer. But I won't because of mathematics. Stephen, what's the size of your market area? 100,000 people?
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what percentage of those people this minute are in the market for a vehicle new or used?
5%.
5%. Okay, so what are the chances of me, your customer, knowing somebody in the market for a car?
Slim.
5%, okay? Very slim. However, over time, whether I'm at work, on the golf course, at a party, I could be anywhere. Someone's going to bring up the fact they're in the market for a car. And if you have been, if I have been hearing from you consistently for 6 months or 3 years, there's a good chance I'll send them to you because you'll be the only car salesperson's name that I know. Because of all the people that bought a car a year ago today in this market, what percentage can give you their car salesperson's name?
I'd say 20%. Not even 10.
About 10. About 10. 1 out of 10 can tell you what their salesperson's name was. That's sad. Now, you've got a wealth of opportunity here. Stephen, how many orphan customers do you think we have in our database here? Just ballpark. I mean, just ballpark me. 1,000? 2,000?
Yeah, it's gotta be at least 5. I mean, you know, if you just do the math, we roughly round up to 100 sales a month. We're probably an 80 to 90 car store the past 5 years. And you probably have,
So that's 6,000 customers right there.
right, and then of of the salespeople that we have, you've just asked around how many people have been here 5 or 6 years. It's,
3 or 4?
it's not that high. You
Right.
You basically have, G's probably been here that amount of time. Kelvin, maybe 3 to 4 years.
John, Gary,
Gary, no,
No.
not here. Gary's not here anymore.
No.
Jeff I'm thinking about.
Jeff. Yeah, so I think you probably have 3 that have been here 5 years. So just take 70%, roughly 50, at least 50% or higher of that 5.
So there's
6,000.
3,000 customers that don't know a salesperson here. I'd get their names and I'd just start leaving them messages. Hey, Camden, this is Steve from Stearns Ford. You didn't buy a car from me. The salesperson that you bought a car from, I'd say retired or something. Okay, I wouldn't say they quit. We fired them. Just want to let you know I'm here for you if you need anything. Have a great day. Text them the next month. Send them an email. But Cody, I need to hear from you 15, 20, 30, 40 times over the next 4 years to make sure I don't forget you. Will that create additional referrals? Probably so, yes. Will it make it more likely that I'll buy my next car or truck from you? Yes. All right? And how much does all this cost?
Nothing.
Free.
Doesn't cost a damn thing. Okay, most salespeople don't follow up worth a damn. You know why? Most salespeople don't see themselves doing this forever. You might as well see yourself doing it forever. I can't tell you the number of salespeople that I meet who are 15 or 20 years into their careers still thinking they're going to do something else one day. Okay? And you know, I was doing a seminar and we were talking about follow-up, and this guy is at a Mercedes store. He goes, well, I sell 15 cars a month consistently. I said, how long have you been here? He said, 20 years. I didn't say it out loud, but I thought to myself, I'd be embarrassed to say I only sell 15 cars a month after being at a store for 20 straight years. He ought to be selling 50 cars a month without ever getting up out of his seat. There should be a line of people waiting to buy a car from that dumbass.
How many of those guys that you've seen that are on the level that you're talking about have stayed in the car business but hopped around from store to store every 2 years?
None.
0.
None. The grass is not greener. Now, if you go to work for an organization that's got a shitty management team, and there are plenty of them out there, believe me, okay, where they abuse their salespeople, where there just isn't a very good culture, then leave. But when you go to a store that's got a good product, is Ford a good product? Yeah, I'd say Ford's a really good product. You know, Mr. Stearns, I know 1,000 car dealers, at least 1,000 car dealers. And I know 1,000 gentlemen. I know about 10 gentlemen car dealers, okay? And Dale Stearns is one of them. And it's reflected throughout the organization. Okay, Mitch, class act. Okay, Sebastian over at the county, class act. You know, Charles is a very creative manager. I mean, Charles does a lot of closing, doesn't he?
About 80% tonight.
Okay, you know how many managers I come across that don't get off their ass to help their salespeople? The answer would be most. Okay, so yeah, great point, Stephen. It ain't going to get any better anywhere else. Well, you've been in another store, okay? How was it there? And maybe it was fine. I mean, Capital's not a bad organization.
They're not. It's just
No.
very old school ranch.
Yep. Have you worked anywhere else?
Nissan. With the Crenshaws.
Yeah, I don't know the organization.
It's old school.
Okay.
Same
Well,
thing.
again, I'm not gonna. I don't go around bashing anybody else, but I'm telling you, the point that Stephen makes is a good one. I mean, commit yourself to the organization, commit yourself to the business, and you can make a lot of money in this business. You know, I compare it to an Allstate or a State Farm insurance agent. When they start, it's tough. They make 30, 40, 50, 60 grand a year. They're trying to get new customers. But once they get a customer base then it just grows exponentially. And after 10 years, they're not looking for new business. All they're doing is renewing automobile policies, and then they get motorcycle policies if the customers buy motorcycles, and then they get life insurance policies, and they get homeowners or renters policies. You can do the same thing as an automobile salesperson. Most people don't, because most salespeople aren't taught how to create a clientele. Someone buys a car from you, Camden, they should never, ever, ever, ever forget you, nor should you ever forget them.
Right.
Cody, make sure they remember you for the rest of their damn lives. Okay? Does it guarantee a repeat business? No. Does it guarantee you more referrals? No. There's no guarantees in this business, but it'll certainly increase your chances. And you over here, remember how important you are. Okay? The BDC is sort of the window to the store. You're going to be a lot of people's first impression of the store, whether it be an email, a text, you don't do videos, or a telephone call.
Right.
Okay? How do you get paid?
Hourly.
Hourly? Okay. No bonuses for exceptional performance in the BDC?
No, do you not get paid on shows and solds?
Oh yeah, we can do commission on appointments. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like salary or hourly. We get commission on appointment shows and solds. Yeah,
Good. You should.
definitely.
So you can make a lot of money.
I mean, it can definitely add up. you
Make
know?
more.
Right.
Okay, that's so much for the rant. Okay.